Hey YouTube, I'm back with another deck profile. Today I'm going to do a deck profile on my updated Blaster Dark Diablo, or my Blaster, I call it Blaster Diablo deck. So last time when set 6 came out, I believe, yeah, back when Spectral Duke Dragon became Spectral Blaster Diablo and switched from Gold Paladin to Shadow Paladin, I focused on Diablo as the main gambit of the deck. So now I did refer to Blaster as a thing, as like another sort of archetype. So now I sort of combine them. So now it's more like Blaster and Diablo, but Blaster is also more of the focus now. So we'll see that. They did get some new units from Fighters Collection. We'll go over those, what I think, my opinion on these. And then how Shadow Paladins do in the current Stride, or I guess the current Vanguard meta. So Shadow Paladin, so we'll just go through the deck and then I'll talk about it. So it's 4 Blaster Dark Diablo from the Legend deck. And then I'm still running the Whirlwind of Darkness Vladimir Diablo. I don't like that it doesn't have Blaster in the name, but it's not too big of a deal. The deck is still largely focused on Diablo, but there is some stuff that does require a Blaster Vanguard, so not too big of a deal when you're striding, but if you're not able to stride, he's not that good. But I do like that he can, when he's placed on V, he does for free call a grade 1. That's nice. Very nice, actually. So for grade 2s, I'm running 4 Dark Knight Maiden Maka. She is nice at 4 because she helps you get your grade 1s consistently, and she's not loyal to either Blaster or Diablo. She's kind of neutral. So she's neutral, so I run 4 copies. Next, I'm running 4 Black Chain Flame Dance Formation Howl. He's the Diablo focus guy, but I like him because he does potentially have unflip. And he does give power to himself and the Vanguard, so he becomes 12, or he can become like 12 and 15 by himself with 1k behind him or whatever, and then the Vanguard is plus 6, so it's really nice. And then because I was saying earlier that I did return some of the deck back to being Blaster focused, I'm running 3 of the Battle Knight Dorant. It's still pretty good 11k attacker most of the time. The only time it can't be 11k attacker is with Vladimir as the Vanguard and you're not striding. However, regardless of all of that, I mean, he's still GB1 restricted, so he isn't going to be an 11k early anyway. So 3 of him, because still I tend to favor Diablo over the Blaster archetype. But yeah, I mean, he's pretty nice. Before I was not, when the deck was Diablo focused, I was running the new Painter guy, which can be treated as a grade. He's a grade 2, but when he's in the deck and you have a Diablo, he's treated as a grade 1. So Maka can potentially call him. That's really nice. So can Spectral Blaster Diablo. But yeah, anyway, like I said, so this also has an unflip engine, a countercharge engine, kind of like Howl, with his teammate is grade 1. So anyway, that's the grade 2s. So it's 4 Maka, 4 Howl, and 3 Dorant. For grade 1s, 4 Nevin. People like to run the unflip Perfect Guard. You can, doesn't really matter. This, I like, it digs through the deck, so I could potentially guard better if I need to. 3 Charon, he's just really good for retiring. Paying the retiring cost when you have a Blaster Vanguard. 3 Kaiden. Oh, also the other thing worth noting about him is that he can search your Blaster Dark if Vladimir's in your hand. So 4 copies of him is fine also, but then you're gonna have to drop one of the other grade 1s down a copy. So that's why I still kind of kept him at 3. There's lots of ways to superior call him, but yeah, if you're really wanting to make the deck very optimal focus on Blaster, then you kind of want to always try to increase the chances of riding Blaster Dark Diablo over Vladimir. So in that case, 4 Charon would be good. But anyway, I'm still running 3, and then 3 Kaiden. He partners up with Howl So he's the Diablo side, and then 2 Claudus for the Blaster side. Mixing all of it together is fine. And then 2 Darkheart Trumpeteer. She's also Blaster limited. Like, she doesn't work with the Diablo. So she doesn't work with Vortimir. But, I mean, a lot of this stuff's all GB1 restricted, which is... it is what it is. 2 of her, because I like that she could potentially tutor any of the ones you need. So, like, if you have Dorant out and you need to get Claudus, she can fetch Claudus relatively easy. You can call her down on the opposite side behind Maka or the Vanguard or something, and then you call Claudus from the deck. So that's why 2 of each of them is fine. So this is the kind of Blaster support stuff. People probably wondering, well, why don't you run Brawlin the Stride Fodder? That's good with Claret Sword. I don't really need that because, honestly, with G-Guardian, if you G-Guardian, as long as you're able to get your first Stride, and if you G-Guardian, you've got GB2, so literally you're going to be striding by dropping, like, triggers and stuff, so, for him, if he's a Vanguard. So, you kind of want to always ensure that he is your, main Vanguard. If Vortimir is your main Vanguard, you could have some issues. As long as you're able to get 1 stride off, I'd say the deck will run fine. It can fix itself. I mean, it's got a lot of draw power and all kinds of stuff going for it, so I feel like it doesn't really need the stride fodder the way a lot of other stride-based decks do. For the trigger lineup, I am running the draw triggers because, like I said, I'm not running stride enabler, so the deck, in order for the deck to be fast and just draw into your grade 3s, we run draw triggers, and also because you retire sometimes. I mean, yeah, the cost of retiring is somewhat reduced thanks to Charon, but you do want to draw into key cards and stuff, so that's why draw triggers are good. Plus, you Soul Blast quite a bit in here with Spectral Blaster Diablo, with Vortimir's on-ride skill, and with Darkheart Trumpeteer, so he can replenish. He's basically a Margot clone for Shadow Paladin, so very nice draw trigger. Then just 8 critical trigger. I recommend running triggers that are not effects. Now, obviously, they don't have, well, critical triggers that are all 5k. I mean, Shadow Paladin doesn't have a lot of criticals with effects as far as I know, besides the Claret Sword one, which I obviously don't run that one in here because it's not needed. So 5ks are good because they can hit proper numbers. And then Abyss Healer, the original healer, my favorite Shadow Paladin healer of all time. And then Full Bow Brave. Full Bow Brave is a starter. I went back to the Legend deck starter, not because it's hollow or anything, but mainly because, like I said, I'm not running Stride enablers. So, as long as you can either G-Guardian early to enable GB1 to make this live, then you can use this to fetch your Blaster to your hand and use that to strides on subsequent turns. Or just get that first stride off. It's pretty key. That's why we run draws. That's why we do as much drawing as we can and stuff like that. So, Full Bow Brave, I think he is better than the other one. Yes, he does use Counterblast, but he works. So I run him. He puts in a lot of work, and he proved himself as the better starter for me. He's very much like Undus in the new Overlord Legend deck. So basically, this is the Legend deck card for Shadow Paladin. It's their starter. For a Stride deck, I am running my 3 Dark Dragon Spectral Blaster Diablo. I was lucky enough to pull all 3 of these from packs without too much trouble. So 3 is the ideal number. 4 is too much. You'll never stride him more than 2 times a game, and with 3 copies, you can stride him 2 times a game. So 3, that's nice. And then I am running the 4 Diablo. This is win condition for them. It can get free wins. Definitely need to run 4. It's really nice in here. These are all your stride units that have Blaster and Diablo in the name, so Vortimir as a Vanguard is okay with these guys. Then, of course, the potential best first stride, Aura-Geyser Dragon. He's good with Diablo, I mean Blaster Dark Diablo. I mean, it doesn't really matter because he's just a pretty good card to cycle stuff through the deck. So I like him. You only need 2 to stride him once. More than that is too many. Then my 1-ofs, my 1 Grim Recruiter from the Legend deck, and then my 1 Dark Dragon, Distress Dragon. So let me talk a little bit about this guy. This guy, I don't like him. I've almost never strode him. In fact, I actually still have yet to stride this guy because In playtesting, I still never find the need to stride him. I have not yet tested him with Claret Sword. He probably is more useful in Claret Sword, but even Revengers are not going to benefit that much from this guy. He's still easily perfect guarded and stuff like that, so he's just not good. I just don't like him. Let me know in the comments if there's any really good plays you can find with this Distress Dragon. But yeah, this guy is just kind of in here to show that he's a thing. That's about it. Next one, Air Element Sea Breeze. For those matchups where the opponent likes to stay at grade 2 for more than one turn. Yeah. Because this deck does need to get GB1 as fast as it can, and without Stride Enablers, you kind of want to pull out all the stops and run as much Stride capability as you can, so 2 of that. Next, 2 Dark Knight Ludwig. So this is their G Guardian that they got from Fire's Collection. I honestly don't like it that much because I don't like retiring my rear guards on my opponent's turn. But it can be used. It'll have some issues up against cards that like to punch the whole field like Brawlers, but they're kind of falling off now. And Kagero gives them a hard time, gives his deck a hard time sometimes. So, because oftentimes you might not even have grade 1s on the field if you're up against like Kagero and you retired a lot of your stuff previous turns. So, but I mean, so far he hasn't been too much of an issue for me. I could potentially run 4 copies of him, but there's still better choices. So 2 of him is enough. And then 1 Desmil. Desmil is not as important in here as he is in other decks, like for example Angel Feather, where he needs to protect Broken Heart, or he needs to protect Silent Tom and OTT. But he can still do his thing and kind of help out. So 1 of him is fine in here. And then, last but not least, 1 Metal Element Scryu. We don't run Blizza in here because he's not needed. You have better things anyway, even though Blizza in late game is really strong. So anyway, guys, that is my updated Shadow Paladin deck for G Guardian format. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, stay tuned for more Cardfight Vanguard videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.